Hi, in today's video I'm going to be taking a look at getting MPV to display on the second display on Wayland. Now, these are the options we have in the MPV manual to position the video. Now we have screen, --screen equals, and then a number, --screen name equals string, --fs for full screen, --fs-screen, and --screen name. So what I'm going to do is actually go through some of these options and show you how they work. Now, typically, if you're on X11, what you can do is MPV --screen equals like 2. I think it's 1 or 2. It's 1. And then a video. So what's happening there is it's displaying on screen 1. So on X11, what that would do is that would display it on the second monitor, but on Wayland, it's not working. So typically on X11, what I would have done is MPV --fs screen equals 1 and path to a video. And you can see that's not working. It just still displays on the built-in display. So this is something that's been bugging me for ages, because every time I open a video with MPV, I then have to manually move it across to the other screen and set it to full screen, which is really irritating. So what's the actual fix? Going through all these options here, so we've got screen name, full screen, --fs screen, and then a number. That's actually what you need to use. So if I run MPV --fs --fs screen equals 1, and see, what I'm going to do now is just switch the monitor in OBS, so bear with me. There we go. It's now displaying on the correct display. So let me just switch back to the laptop screen. So that's the fix, and it's something that I'd missed for a really long time, because I've just been using full screen with the --screen option. So how do we find out what the screen numbers are? So if we come across to the terminal, we run xrandr --list active monitors. Even though I'm running Wayland, this will actually output 2 monitors. We got Wayland 1 and Wayland 0. And my first thought was that you could actually use either the number here or the name with some of these options, like screen name. So --screen name equals 1, or xwayland 0, or xwayland 1. That doesn't work. Seems like there's actually a bug with MPV that I picked up on GitHub as an issue, and it seems like the screen name option isn't actually working. And the only way to get this to work properly and display on the second monitor is to use this syntax: MPV --fs --fs screen equals 1. However, there's a caveat, and that is that if you unplug the monitor and plug it back in, the screen index seems to change and it no longer works. So what I found is, as long as you have the monitor plugged in and boot up, it will get the correct index number. But if you unplug the monitor and plug it back in, it confuses it and it stops working. So what I also want to show you is, how do we get the detailed information on Wayland about the screen names. So there's a tool called Gnome Randa, which I don't have installed at the moment, that will actually work on Wayland and display the screen names as well. So what I'm going to do now is, because I'm on Nix OS, what I can do is run Nix shell -p gnome randa, and what this is going to do, it's going to let me try the gnome randa command without installing it. Okay, so you'll see the shell is now changed, and it's now saying Nix shell. If I now run gnome randa, it's installed, and we can see the output. So this is awesome, because I can actually try any application before I've installed it. So as soon as I exit this shell, this command's gone. So it's really useful if you want to try an application before you install it, sort of like try before you buy. And you know, if you like it, you can stick it in your home manager config and use it. If not, just exit and it's gone. So what this gnome randa command is showing us is, you know, logical monitor 1, logical monitor 2, and what we've got here is sort of the name. So we got EDP-1 and DP-3, and you can see here it's actually giving is built-in false. So this is the external monitor, and this is the display name here, Anchor Communications Inc. 24-inch, and then we've got the built-in display down here, and that basically corresponds to, if I come into settings, you can see down here, this is the settings display. And what you'll see up here is, so this is 1, and the second monitor is 2. So you can see that the indexes are different. On MPV, the screen --FS screen starts at a 0 index, whereas this starts at 1. So this is how we can get the proper display names from the settings using gnome randa here, just by running gnome randa, and it's going to output that. If I exit this, you'll see that command is now gone. I want to try it again. Nix shell, bang, gnome randa, and there you can see. So that's how we can use gnome randa to actually get the proper screen names that you don't get with the xranda command. You don't get the actual names down here. So let me just exit that. So xranda --list. What we've got is active monitors. If I run monitors, you can see it's just outputting this 0 and 1, X Wayland 1, X Wayland 0. So basically, it looks like these options don't work due to a bug in MPV. See if I can find that bug. MPV screen name. Yeah, this is the post here. So this is from about a year ago. Yeah, just over a year ago. MPV is ignoring the screen name option and playing a video on the default monitor. And going through this is where I actually picked up that you need to use --FS and --FS screen equals. Where was it? It was somewhere down here. Yeah, well, it's somewhere on here that I can't now find. But basically, this is what put me onto the actual fix. And I said the option. If I come back to here, the options we've got a screen. So if you just use screen, it doesn't work. You can only get the video to display on the second monitor full screen. You can't run --screen and give it 0, 1, or do screen name equals 0 or 1 or x Wayland 1 or x Wayland 0 or EDP. None of that works due to this bug on GitHub, it seems. So the only thing that I found that actually works, as I said, screen equals 1. Oops. So as you can see, that's displaying on the built-in display. However, if I use --fs, of course, if you're using ZSH, you'll get auto completion for these options, so you don't have to type it out manually. So --fs screen. There's also a blackout screens option, so I believe that I haven't tried it, but I think that would black out the other screen. So screen equals 1. Videos. And let me switch back to the other monitor, and you'll see it's now displaying correctly on that display. So that's the issue, and that's how we get around it. So what I've done is actually change a lot of my scripts that I use. So this is a script that I use with Newsboat to give me an FZF menu that will allow me to play the video, download it, copy the URL, all sorts of stuff. So what I've done here is I use Task Spooler. On NixOS, the Task Spooler command is called TS. On Ubuntu, it's called TSP. I think on some other ones, it's actually called TS as well. So it really depends what version of Linux you're using, what the TS command is called. And Task Spooler is a command that will allow you to queue up commands to be executed one after another. And what we can do with this is basically use it to queue up a list of videos to play sequentially one after another from the terminal. So we have MPV no terminal --fs --fs equals screen equals 1. And if you don't have a second monitor plugged in, yeah, it's still going to work. It's still going to go full screen. So it's not going to cause an issue if you're switching between having a monitor plugged in and just using the built-in display. But as I said, if you boot up with the monitor plugged in, unplug it and then replug it in, the index number changes and it stops working. So don't do that. As long as you boot up with the monitor in, it will have the correct screen number. And again, if you're just using your built-in display, it's not going to stop the video displaying. It will just display full screen on your main display. So the other switch I made is in my Emacs config. So here we go. So with Emacs, what I'm using is open with, and what this allows you to do is set a list of file extensions you want to be opened with a particular application, and this will work with Diode, the built-in file manager in Emacs, so that whenever you click a video, it's going to call MPV, run it full screen, and run it full screen on my main monitor. And again, if you don't have an external monitor plugged in, it's just going to display full screen on your built-in display. Because most videos are going to be 1920, 1080, you know, they're going to open full screen anyway. So it's not going to, you know, interfere with, you know, your normal watching a video. So let's have a look at that. So what we've got here is a video, and what I'll do is I'll switch across to the main display and then open the video, and you'll see it opens correctly on the main display from within Diode and Emacs. So just excuse the OBS display here for a second. And if I just come back here, you'll see, hi, it's now launched that video correctly on the second display. And let me just come back to the main screen. So that's really useful because typically the way you're going to sort of play stuff is you're going to be looking at your built-in display, launching things on your built-in display, but you want them displayed on the second screen. And the issue is that if you don't, what's going to happen by default normally is you'd open a video, it's going to open on this display, then you've got to move it across to the other display, and that's just really annoying. So what I'm going to do is actually come across to Newsboat now. So what we've got here is Newsboat. So let's come into Got Blue. It's actually supposed to be God Bless You, apparently. And what I'm going to do is actually press a keyboard shortcut that calls a CGI script that creates a FZF menu. So as you can see, when I press a keyboard shortcut, I get this list of commands up here, like video, full screen. So if I press video, what's going to happen is it's going to display it on this screen in a second. Okay, so you can see that's displaying on my built-in display there. If I now bring up the menu and press full screen, what's going to happen is it will display in a second on this. Yeah, there we go. So let me just come out of that again. So what allows me to do is when I'm in Newsboat, I don't know, it should come up. It came up with a, no, it doesn't. So basically I can come into Newsboat, I can then go full screen, and I can just come through and I can actually queue all these, the videos I actually want to watch from here to be displayed on the second display and queued up one after another. So the sort of the workflow is there's a new video that will come in and I just want to queue some of these up, so I'll just go full screen, and just switch across to here. Give it a second. That's the first video. Quit. Give it a second. And there's the second video. So let's come back out of that. What we've also got is the come across to W3M CGI scripts. Let me just come to the key map first of all. So basically what I've got is some key maps that call a CGI script from within W3M. So by pressing comma dot, it's going to run this CGI script here, and it's going to do the same sort of thing. So video, what I'm doing now is I'm using Surf Raw to submit queries to Google Video because you can't access YouTube from the command line anymore because it requires JavaScript now. So if I type got blute, what we should get is a list of videos here, and as you can see here the I'm over the link, and if you have a look at the link down here, you'll see the link has actually got a Google redirect. And what I'm doing is using another script that removes the Google redirect. So if I run full screen now, this should display on this second monitor in a second. Yeah, there we go. So we've got the same thing within W3M as well as Newsboat. So let me just come out of that. And the way that works is we've got a prompt here that we're calling. And what we do is we use this site config. And what we're doing here, if I just increase the text size, we're matching google.com URL question mark, and we're redirecting that to this Google redirector .cgi script. And what that script does is it actually strips out the Google question mark. So you can see here the current URL. We then grep through the current URL, and this is a bit of code that GotBlue came up with. That originally I was using Python to do this, and what it does is it makes sure that the URL is sometimes you get like %20 and all that kind of stuff in URLs. What it does, it kind of strips it out so it's a proper URL that can be readable by MPV and played. So it basically goes through, removes the Google redirect, and make sure that the URL is playable by MPV, because by default, if you take one of those URLs from W3M, because it has the Google redirect, it won't work with MPV. So we strip it out. So whenever we're on a Google link in W3M, it's automatically going to redirect the URL to this page and strip it out, and then we can use it with MPV to play the video. So that's basically the gist of how we get this to work, and it's been something that's been bugging me for ages, and I just hadn't tried the combination of --fs and --fs screen, which is the secret sauce to get this working. So again, the issue is if you use --screen equals 0 or 1 or 2 or whatever, and you're on Wayland, it won't display on the second monitor. It will if you're on X11. The screen name option for both screen name and --fs screen name doesn't appear to work. It seems to be a bug, according to the GitHub issue there. So, as I said, you have to use the combination of --fs and --fs screen equals 1. You've got the options all current or 0 to 32. And I think current will basically, by default, what happens with MPV on Wayland at least is if you just do --fs, what it's going to do is default to the current active monitor, and that means that the monitor with your cursor on it. So if I run MPV --fs, I think this should work, video, not that one, the currently playing video. So you can see here it's now launching in today's video, that display. If I were to move my cursor to a sort of another display, and can I switch back to this? Hi, in today's, no, it's not. I think that's just the way I launched it, but see if I can get it to do it on another one. I'll do it through Newsboat. So okay, so I'm going to do video. I'm going to move my cursor over here, and it should display on this screen. Yeah, okay. See that? Whereas if I've got my cursor over on here and do video, give it a sec, you'll just see that it's now displaying on this screen. And let me come across to screens. So by default, without the sort of FS option here, just running MPV with a URL or a video, it's going to launch the video on the current display, and the current display is the display with your cursor on it, basically. So as a workaround, what I was doing was running Newsboat, start getting the video to play, and then quickly moving my my cursor across to the other screen. So that's how I can get the video to launch on the correct display. So these are the options in MPV that you need to go through, and this is the sort of the bug report on MPV about the screen name option not working. So if you come through here, you'll sort of find some information. But yeah, that's basically how I sort of fixed that issue. You could also add that option to your MPV config to automatically set it to be displayed on another screen. That's another option, but then it just basically means that it's always going to be set to do that, and you might not want to hard code it into your what do you call it, config. So the options are, you can either just run MPV, have it display on this screen, or --fs screen equals 1, and then the video. That's a bit annoying to have to type all that out to get it to display on a second monitor. So that's why in Diode I set let me come back across to my Emacs config, Emacs init. So that's why in Diode I've got this set up so that whenever I click a video in Diode, it's going to open the second display. The other thing that you can do is actually, of course, make a script to do this. So you could create an alias, or like MPV2 or something that always displays the video on a second display. I can actually run this script that I use with Newsboat and give it a path to a video. And what it's going to do, it's going to bring up an FZF menu, and if I just type video, it's going to launch on this display. Do the same thing, type full screen, it's going to launch on the other monitor over there. So that's the issue with MPV and Wayland, and getting the video to automatically launch on the second display. And again, remember, the issue is that if you unplug the monitor, the index seems to change and it kind of stops working. So don't do that. So as long as you have the display plugged in and boot up, it gets the correct index numbers. But then if you unplug the monitor and plug it in, the index numbers get changed, and the number you've put in doesn't sort of work. So there are lots of kind of ifs and ors about how it works, but as long as you do the --fs and --fs screen equals and a number, it will work. But all the other options seem to actually be broken on Wayland. So --screen equals 0 or 1, it's always going to display on your built-in display, and the screen name options don't seem to work either, and it's not entirely clear what options you're supposed to put in there. Are you actually supposed to put in the which is like screen name equals built-in display, or Anchor Communications Inc. 24, but whatever name I've tried putting in doesn't work, whether it's X Wayland 0, X Wayland 1, or EDP 1, or whatever, So again, if you want to list stuff, you can run xrandr -- list active monitors. You can see it's listing the 2 monitors. If you want to use gnome random nix shell -p gnome random. Okay, and then you can just run gnome random, and that's going to actually give you the names here like DP3, EDP1, and the actual display name, built-in display, or display name Anchor Communications Inc. And that's an ASUS monitor there. So exit, gone. So that's a little tip for why you might want to use NixOS, because you can try before you buy and actually run commands without installing them, which is insane. I think you can also do this with graphical applications as well. And what I haven't found out is whether using Nix Shell will create a desktop launcher, like a an icon like this, or whether you actually have to run the application's name on the command line. So that's all for now. Hope that helps. If you're using MPV on Wayland and you want to get the video to display on the second screen, I'll put links to all this under the video, and that's all for now.